On this episode of TVW at Large, we visited the Washington State Patrol Academy in Shelton, a facility used by the State Patrol to train the next generation of troopers in the Evergreen State. Dedicated in 1969, the Washington State Patrol Training Academy provides multifaceted law enforcement skill development.
We're a law enforcement training agency. Most specifically, we focus on training for our own employees. Additionally, we bring in other law enforcement agencies as well as folks from other state agencies. And within that, our primary function is to train and to provide training to our trooper cadets who will ultimately become troopers.
In a previous episode of TVW at Large, we covered a similar facility, the Criminal Justice Training Center in Burien.
So the most significant difference between the Washington State Patrol Academy and the Criminal Justice Training Center is we provide training to our own employees, Washington State troopers. The Criminal Justice Training Center focuses on all other law enforcement training for officers other than troopers.
Charles 836, I'll look for it.
Speaking about potential cadets, Captain Ben Dixon provided this insight into WSP recruiting.
There seems to be somewhat of a culture shift in folks that still desire to do public service. There's still a lot of folks out there that have a desire to do public service, but sometimes they may not know what it is that a law enforcement agency can offer. There's so many different opportunities out there for folks, and I know that in our recruitment we're really trying to focus on what folks would get out of the job, where there is value in doing this job and providing that public service.
One of the most critical components of the training at the Academy is the hands-on, behind-the-wheel vehicle training.
Vehicle passing on the right shoulder.
The driving training is one of the most popular trainings that occurs here at the Academy. Folks like to drive fast, going around curves on one or two wheels. They do pit training, which is where they initiate a vehicle to come to a stop by coming up behind it and moving their patrol vehicle into the rear bumper of the suspect vehicle to cause it to turn and to stop. We also provide pursuit training, where we get on the radio and we try to make it as real as possible that they're in a pursuit but in a controlled environment. So they drive fast, they're chasing a car around the drive course, they're on the radio talking to the dispatcher, giving them all of the information that they would need to ensure that they come to a safe conclusion within that pursuit.
Get off me! Get off me! Hey, knock off your feet. Get up, go, get up, get up.
In addition to vehicle training, the Academy also teaches basic hand-to-hand defensive skills.
The biggest thing we teach here is we try to have the brush with the broadest stroke to get as many people involved in defensive tactics. We have a lot of people coming here who have no skill or no idea what we do, so we start at a very basic level to build a foundation, and from there we build upon that with very easy and gross motor skills to make them comfortable and able to do things under stress.
Keep it simple. Don't try to get too crazy.
The cadets live on site at the Academy from 8 a.m. on Monday through 5 p.m. on Friday.
So our academy is a paramilitary academy. The cadets are required to be here from Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day, living in a dorm or barracks type situation. In that process, we bring in cadets from the public, and we kind of mold them into what we're looking for out of a state trooper. And the biggest piece here that we're looking for is taking them away from I, or me, and start to turn their minds towards service to others and putting yourself behind other people. And we use the paramilitary model to kind of reinforce the importance of doing the job properly and having a good understanding of what it takes to be a state trooper.
The Washington State Patrol also has a system in place to provide training up to 3 times a year on new laws as well as updates to existing laws to ensure that troopers have the latest information. That's going to do it for this episode of TVW at Large. As always, I'm your host, Dave Martinson.
Support for TVW at Large provided by the Washington Forest Protection Association and by the Arcora Foundation.